Okay. And do you look to implement tools and processes through software, or is this the sort of thing that people can manage without any special software? Tell me a little bit more about how how your solution or your system or your process kind of unfolds
Yeah.
once you've identified the problem and you're now looking to kind of implement, a fix to it.
Yeah. So the software side isn't really that important, to be honest. You either understand
Hmm.
the math and the statistics or you don't. Like I have a statistical background, so I understand it. For someone that didn't,
Hmm.
it could be useful, but they would still need to understand the basics of how supply chain works. Really, what
Hmm.
it comes down to is just having the communication. A lot of times, sales isn't talking to marketing, isn't talking to operations. So the
Hmm.
biggest thing I do is not just creating a forecast, but it's actually getting everybody in a room to discuss that forecast and say, okay, this is what the data is saying. I know this is the first time you've seen it, but this is what the data is
Hmm.
saying. This is what the company thinks we're going to do. And now let's see what
Hmm.
that gap looks like and have a conversation around it.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. Okay. And there's a few different kind of terminologies here that people talk about, including, demand planning, inventory management, and forecasting. Can you just talk through each of these and put some definitions and language around them? I'd also be interested in hearing your thoughts on, if there's a certain way or order that we should be, tackling these things. Does one need to happen before the other, for example?
Yeah, so forecasting is first. The way I would paint the picture is forecasting is the science, demand planning is the art, and then inventory management is the result. It's the end result of all that. And so
Okay.
forecasting is the statistics. This is what we've sold over the last 6 months. This is what we're pacing to. This is our moving average. And it's a very statistical kind of
Right.
game. And then demand planning is where you start having
Hmm.
these conversations around marketing, the economics. We're changing prices. We're running this promotion. We're running this commercial. It's where you start layering in all the things that aren't in the statistical history. And so that's the demand
Hmm.
planning part of it. That's usually very collaborative. That's when you're talking to the other leads, the sales lead, the marketing lead, the finance team. And then the
Yep.
inventory management is more about risk mitigation. So just because you're forecasting something, there could be, different levels of risk to this forecast. And so inventory management
Hmm.
is where you're putting these buffers in place where it's like, okay, this is our forecast, but we also want to have this kind of buffer, this kind of safety stock, or we think this might happen, but we're not sure. So let's, and that's where the strategy part comes around. You see it a lot with seasonal businesses and then like things like new product launches where inventory management is more important than the forecast because you don't have a lot of data. So it really depends on
Hmm.
where you are with the product life cycle, but they all
Hmm.
three serve their part.
Gotcha. Gotcha.